All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Everyday Whiskey, and I'm Dan.
And I'm Mike, and tonight we have a special episode. It's going to be called Mash-in Grapes. So what I mean by that is we're doing a little bit of a crossbreeding with alcohol here. We're going to be doing whiskeys that are aged in wine barrels, or I should say finished in wine barrels.
Yeah, they're aged in American oak because obviously to be considered bourbon, it has to be aged in American oak. If it's a blended whiskey, they still do use American oak, but you can kind of play with like French oak, some different Scotch casks, stuff like that. But it's basically they all start in American oak and then they're finished in wine casks.
Yep. So the three whiskeys we have, one of which you've seen before, we have the Kinsey Zinfandel,
which we did on our first episode. This is the one that I brought on. It's a 10-year whiskey aged in Napa Zinfandel casks, or finished in Napa Zinfandel casks.
Then we have actually two from Savage and Cook. The first one is going to be the Burning Chair, and the second one from Savage and Cook is Second Glance. So we're both going to talk about one of these. Well, actually, Dan might talk about two because he knows a little bit more about the Kinsey, but we're not going to go in depth on Kinsey because we already did that. So we just wanted to bring it out because it fits the motif of this week's episode.
Exactly.
So let's put these in the center.
And like the packaging, like on these Savage and Cooks, is like honestly some of the coolest like packaging out on the market right now because it's literally
very unique.
It's kind of a diamond shape. I don't know. Here, actually, that might be the best way to. Yeah, there we go. And here's a little ASMR for you. They have glass corks, so when you pop it, you don't hear the. You know, it sounds really strange. Let me see if I can get this close to the mic here. Yeah, it's a glass cork, which I've never seen before.
I've never seen that
there might be somebody else that does it, but I've never seen it before personally. But yeah, they also have a rye whiskey, which I don't have, called Lip Service, and the package on that is kind of crazy. But look these up online, find pictures to get a better look at some of like the graphics on them. But you know, you got Second Glance here. Looks like some
very unique artwork,
old school photography, like B-roll stuff. And then you literally have a Burning Chair on this label here, so that's pretty literal. All right, so let's pull these to the side, I guess, for now.
Yeah, we can pull them out of frame.
All right, so we obviously have three glasses here. We're going to try all three of these. So, Chan, do you want to start here with the American whiskey?
Yeah, let's start with that one.
All right.
So I'm starting with the Second Glance. So the Second Glance is actually the first release of Dave Finney, I believe is his name. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's his first release of Dave Finney's 5-year line. So it's hand-selected at 5 years young. It's aged 5 years in ex-bourbon barrels. And then it's finished in Dave's Napa Cab wine casks. So that finishing is going to give you a little bit of the oakiness from the Cabernet, and not only that, but they're used wine casks, so you're going to get the actual wine notes in the bourbon as well. It
definitely smells like wine, for sure. It smells like wine. You get a little cherry on the nose, maybe a little dark fruit, something like that.
Very sweet on the smell.
And to go in a little bit on like the Savage and Cook Distillery, Dave Finney is a winemaker. He owns a winery. They didn't disclose the name of his winery. I'm sure if you did your own research, you could dig and find the winery. But for the sake of the episode, we're going to call it Dave's Winery.
Dave's Winery.
Dave's Winery. It's located in Mare Island, California. Mare Island is actually a pretty notable location.
Distilleries in Mare Island.
Oh, yeah. The distilleries. Yeah. The winery is in Napa and Alexander Valley. He has Alexander Valley property. That's where he gets his water from for the whiskeys.
Yep, that's a fun little fact. They're titrated to 88 proof with pure water from his high elevation winery in Alexander Valley.
So I'm sure there's traces of limestone, but not your typical like limestone water whiskey. But yeah, so basically
very pure water.
He chose the Mare Island location just for its abundance of brown brick buildings. The facades of these buildings are very aesthetically pleasing. It's an old naval shipping yard, so there's an abundance of area to actually make a distillery. So he's got a lot of room for distribution purposes.
Let's get that back in.
But it's definitely a different twist on whiskey, California whiskey. Like when you think California, you normally think wine, but the whiskey is definitely up to par. As far as just, I've got very limited. These two I've tasted probably once or twice before, but the American whiskey's got a good flavor to it. It's got like a nice, clean, oaky start, and it's definitely got that little bit of a tannic wine texture in your mouth.
It's a little sweet. You get some honey on there.
Definitely
caramel, actually a little bit of hazelnut in it too. And a little bit more about the bourbon itself. It's mash bill, if anyone's wondering. It's 95% corn, which is pretty common.
Wow, this is like a high corn
Yeah,
Holy
95% corn.
Holy crap.
And then you got 4% rye and 1% malted barley in there.
Because I think the bourbon we're going to show, that's 75% corn. But they mix in, like, the mash bill, they actually blend a little bit more into it. So there's a little more complex flavors going on there. I'm really digging this thing right now, though.
I do, too.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's not overly winey. You don't get,
that's what I'm worried.
a hell of a lot. It's...
And that's definitely, like, the one thing, like, with the Kinsey, you definitely get, like, that plum.
The wine really shows in the Kinsey.
I think,
I mean, I think it's nice. I really don't, if I'm drinking bourbon, I really don't want it to be overpowered with the wine essence either.
I think it's just, like...
it's nice to pick up on a little notes of it, but if it's too strong and prominent in there, then it's a little weird. Yeah. And I think what we're going to do, not in addition to this episode, but in correlation with it, is we're going to do the reverse, and we're going to do some wines that have been barrel aged in bourbon and whiskey barrels.
And then we'll compare them to the whiskey that's aged in said
we'll
wine
try and
cask.
do as much research as we can to see if we can source the actual whiskey bottles that they use, or the whiskey cask, the brand of the whiskey cask that they use in each barrel aged wine. It's like a tongue twister trying to say that.
Barrel aged wine
series is crazy. It started with beer, and now it's going for everything.
But no, it's definitely a cool new category. These wine cask finishes. They've been around for a while, but they're definitely taking, with the surge of the whiskey industry being on fire right now. They're definitely becoming more prevalent in the marketplace. And this is the purpose of this episode: is like, will whiskey wine, like like along those lines. But the one thing I do like about the Kinsey though is that they use a Zinfandel cask, so the pepperiness from the Zinfandel kind of counteracts the sweetness of the plum.
Yes.
So, and it's also a good whiskey for like entry level whiskey drinkers because it's definitely attainable.
I really liked that.
It's a good
that
bridge.
Was delicious.
But there's been plenty of distillers that do it. Jefferson's has two. They have their Pritchard Hill Napa Cab, and they have their Groth Cab Reserve as well, which we definitely are going to bring into an episode soon. They also do Jefferson's definitely plays with like casks. They do an old rum cask finish.
Jefferson's really unique. They have a lot of varieties though. I mean,
I didn't realize how much they had.
Many they had until we went into a couple stores in our area. One in particular, which is known for the abundance of whiskey, bourbon, and scotch that they sell, and I think they had almost every Jefferson's there. Yeah, they had to have had almost. I mean, maybe not some of the real limited rare exclusives. But as far as all their different casks and ages and age statements, they had them.
Enough about Jefferson's. We gotta get back to the task and the Savage and Cook brand.
Back to the Savage.
The one thing I think Savage and Cook has going for it though is the fact that it's actually owned by a winemaker. That's something that they have that is
very unique.
It's very unique and it's indisposable. Like
it is. That's their cornering.
And you can definitely tell that this has like a winemaker's nuance to it. The way like it's a very structured whiskey. You get a little bit of sweetness on the tongue at first, and then you go into the oak, and then maybe a little vanilla, and then it finishes with that tannic expression in your mouth. No, definitely really like this whiskey so far. Third time I've tried it.
Yeah. So this is my first time having the second time having the second glance because you just picked this up a couple weeks ago. Right?
Second time having second glance.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. Very punny.
Very punny.
I didn't pick up on that.
No, you did not because you looked shocked when I said it.
Yeah, I'm not
let's
very
do it again. All right, here is the Burning Chair Bourbon.
Get that glass cork action.
There you go. It never gets old. It's like a dinner bell.
So weird.
Dinner!
Wow, it seals tight for glass.
I almost
God.
I literally almost punched myself in the face the other night trying to open
That's a tight seal. I'm actually thoroughly impressed with that.
All right. Number two.
Now this one, Dan's going to give you a little bit more in-depth review on, as I already did the second glance. He's going to do the burning.
We got two whiskeys. We got two guys. We'll each do one.
Yep.
Pretty simple while we're doing that. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
All right, so right here I have Savage and Cook's.
Ooh, this one has a lot more.
Yeah, so the bourbon, I generally think because they went lighter on the corn, the wine flavor comes out a little more intense on the nose. I don't think in the palate, if I'm remembering correctly, it is as strong.
You know what? I actually get now. I mean, everyone's palate's different, so actually, no one is wrong or is right or wrong in their assessment.
Wow, that actually is.
I get a lot of oak
but there's no burn.
No, there's no burn.
This is like
it's smooth, but I get a lot of oak. You get oak from the bourbon, and then oak from the Cabernet barrels.
I'm not even like this is even for the show. I really like this. I like
super.
It a lot, this is super smooth.
It appeals to what I like in whiskey, and that's the oak. I either like smoke or oak. It rhymes, but
it's light. You get the wood, and then you get you get like that really sharp tannic from the cask here.
Smoke and oak. That's what I like.
If anybody can like research and do a comment for me, how long these actually spend time in the wine cask, because how smooth this has got to spend, I think, a pretty substantial time. Like, some people do a month or 2 months. Like, I feel like this is going to be more than that.
This one is.
There's really no burn to that. This is full
no
of flavor, well-rounded.
Yeah,
it's new charred American oak.
So that's why I'm getting a lot of that oakiness.
But into some technical notes, I'm sure you guys were really looking forward to these. Yeah. No, so this is a 4-year blend. That's a 5-year blend. Once again, Napa Cab Cask. They will not specify which wine. Made with Alexander Valley water. 88 proof. Once again, another 88 proof whiskey.
Getting that Kentucky hug going?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I think it's from the first one too, but this one's smooth.
It's smooth, don't get, but
kind of like the bourbon burps.
I mean, it's 88 proof, so
yeah. So it's a little hotter, not much.
No, not much at all.
But you definitely they describe this as you smell butterscotch on the nose, which you definitely get a little like sugary butterscotch sweetness to it.
Brown sugar.
Yeah,
I get a lot of brown sugar.
Yeah, and that's definitely another one, brown sugar.
I think that again, that's that oak mixing and culminating.
It's crazy that wood does this. Like wood can create these flavors. These are not being put into the whiskey artificial.
I would actually like this if it was a candle.
Yeah, right. It smells great.
This smells amazing.
Savage and Cook, make a candle.
I mean, it's like earthy, woodsy, but also sweet and aromatic, and you get a lot of that.
I'm really digging this.
Cab, the wine,
See, I won't even say it's better than the Kinsey because the Kinsey's such a different whiskey than these two.
Yes.
Just because, number one, it's a 10-year as opposed to a 4 and a 5, so the whiskey is definitely a little more developed in flavor, and the plum in that one is so apparent. But this one's so smooth for a 4-year bourbon. This is so smooth that it just shows you what a Cabernet, what a Cabernet cask can do to whiskey, as opposed to what a whiskey cask can do to Cab, where it takes out the tannic.
I'm serious about making some kind of scent out of this because it smells heavenly. This is divine.
Yeah, no, I really love this smell.
I want this in my room.
This is divine. Divine.
It's very.
I think when you say divine, you should have like your pinky out though. That's like a $5 word.
This is very divine.
Maybe that's me being uneducated, but So if you guys are actually curious about buying these, which I am,
I recommend.
So out of the two, I hate to pick. I don't want to pick. But the bourbon,
that's the winner.
Freaking nailed it with the bourbon.
So
this is and this is a $50 bottle, and it tastes like a $50 bottle. I would 100% pay $50 for this bottle.
It's worth every penny.
Because like if you lined up a bunch of let's just go with, we're gonna line up Eagle Rare, McKenna 10-year, Blanton's, and then throw this one in there. Mm-hmm. I honestly think 4 out of 5 people are probably gonna gravitate towards this.
Yeah,
just because it's super approachable, it smells great, it's easy to drink, it's affordable at $50. I'm not gonna call it a bargain buy at that point, but it's definitely mid-tier.
I'd say mid-tier.
It's not your Friday night buy, but it's like your once a month, it's your bonus buy, whatever. You got $50, you know what to spend it on, you're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But so this one, as opposed to the 95% corn blend on this one, it is 75% corn. It's gonna be 21% rye, and it's gonna be 4% malted barley, which is kind of cool. The barley definitely probably gives it maybe a little more, enhances the oak in it, which I think is what you're really liking in it.
I think it does, because this one is only 1% according to my
Because like they're saying vanilla bean. Like when I did the research online for this, they were saying.
Yeah, I got a lot of like.
Vanilla bean on the flavor. I guess you get kind of that minerality. I think
mine was. I got like honey, caramel, hazelnut, and like I guess some. I mean the honey and the hazelnut. I saw more than anything.
I'm gonna pour.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't even really know what cardamom tastes like much.
What is cardamom? It's a spice, right?
It's a spice, I think. I don't know.
And tea? No, that's chamomile.
No, that's chamomile. Yes.
Okay. I don't drink tea. So I don't drink tea. I'm not a tea guy. Coffee.
Cardamom, but you do get the honey and the hazelnut. But as far as the scent goes, and there's a little left in here.
I'm gonna have another glass of that when we're done.
I mean, you could definitely smell the maple wood in this one for sure. That's a done deal. But man, I like that.
All right. So now that we've had these two, I think we should go back and revisit the Kinsey.
A little trouble there, huh?
Yeah, this cork was really tight, actually. This bottle's almost empty, which I'm gonna be. You're gonna see a post of a, a missing friend post for this bottle.
We have a lot. We're gonna have a lot of empty bottles soon.
Yeah, I know.
Well, maybe not soon. So that makes us sound like alcoholics.
The nose on this one is so good, though. This has the best nose out of the three.
No.
You like the burning chair better?
I think that again, it's personal preference. For me, I love that woodsy, earthy, the oak, the smoke. I keep rhyming like that. I don't know why, but it happens, and we're just gonna roll with it. But it smells. That's my type of. I like that earthy, woodsy smell. So this one, yes, it emulates the scent of like what is it, Zinfandel very well.
Napa Zin. Yeah,
but
at least
it's just not my preferred scent. I guess if I had to design these into two colognes, I'd wear this one and not this one. But this one drinks exceptionally well.
It was definitely actually my two friends though that turned me on to this brand. So I went out and found some bottles. And like I said, this one's probably going between. It should be between 30 and 40 on your shelf for the second glance. And this one should firmly be around $50.
But it's worth every dollar. Now, again, back with the Kinsey, we're getting off track again. There's a lot of wine.
I'm not gonna review this thing again. We did this already. Like, if you want to watch the review on the Kinsey Zinfandel, watch our first episode, the kickoff episode. But yeah, it's definitely this is the most winey out of the three.
Very much so.
I'm not even
get the Zin on this.
And it's just a different.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's a different category.
Yeah,
it's a different type of.
To do that, but
they went. This is a different approach to it for sure.
Totally
Because this is sourced from Kentucky. This is limestone water. It's got more of those true Kentucky flavor notes to it.
Yeah.
I think I get more baking spices out of it, and then you get the plum in the back end.
I could see that. It's not bad though.
But the plum is so apparent that I love the taste of this.
Yeah.
It's just so there's so much plum in this.
It's unique. All three of these they're unique. I mean, I'd go as far as say you might have to be in a mood for each different one. Not one of them is bad by any means. They're all delicious.
All right.
But my personal taste, I prefer the burning chair. However, I can see myself being in the mood for this Kinsey 14.
Yeah.
Maybe at a barbecue or something. You're hanging out in the backyard.
I lost my funnel.
Grilling.
So this is very tricky. This is
grilling. The Zinfandel. That's known as one of the most notorious wines to go with a barbecue. So this bourbon would.
Ready? Barbecue. Well, the perfect barbecue bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. So that would go
I think the
hand.
winner today though is
the burning chair.
This is the most
burning chair by far.
I want to see Savage and Cook doing like side by side taste tests across the country because this is like seriously one of the coolest packages.
It is very unique.
Glass,
not very unique.
Glass cork.
It is unique. I mean, no one else does that.
Glass cork.
That I know of. Maybe I shouldn't say unique because there's a lot of
shit.
alcohol.
I know. I messed it up. See, this is harder with the way the bottle is.
That's all right. That's okay. It happens.
Soaking my barrel in bourbon.
Now it's aging from the outside.
Yep. So yeah, definitely like keep your eyes out for Savage and Cook products on shelves near you. I think they are an up and coming brand. I'm gonna get a little more in there actually.
Yeah, get some more.
And yeah, like I said, the American blended whiskey. If you're not like a big bourbon guy or girl or woman, I'm sorry, I don't want to. Person, human being.
I don't know what's correct anymore. So let's go person.
We're gonna fire from the hip at this point. So this is a very.
I started blasting.
Yeah, I started blasting. Is that copyright?
Probably not. I
don't want to get like demonetized for Danny DeVito quotes.
Whatever.
Super light, borderline refreshing. Get a little of that wine tannic notes to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the winner today is the
burning chair, hands down.
The burning
Phenomenal
chair
product.
bourbon. This stuff is seriously
worth every dollar.
Clean, smooth. It's got flavor. It got great nose. Mike wants a candle made out of this thing.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
so if you got any of those homemade candle makers, send one in to Mike.
Yeah, if you could find a way to make that into a scent.
Say Sarah.
No, I said Savage and Cook.
Oh, I thought you were talking about our friend Sarah.
No, Savage and Cook. If you can make that into a scent somehow, whether it be a candle, a cologne, I don't care. That stuff's great. I like that.
Yeah, and like I said, this episode was mainly to highlight the Savage and Cook brand because I think you and me were the first time you tried this one. I think you were pretty impressed with it.
Yes.
And then this is your first time trying this bourbon, period.
Yeah, that's my first time for that one.
But here, let's get this out of the shot.
It's not going to be my
point.
last.
Because the reason we brought the Kinsey in this because it's another expression of a wine cask finished whiskey.
Mashing grapes.
Mashing grapes. That's why we call this. It's mashing grapes. They said it's corn and grapes. It's two worlds colliding that you don't think should be together, but they totally belong together.
Apparently, you can just barrel age anything now. I mean, it started with beer, and now it's.
I don't think you should say anything because we might have. I think will result be like some mutants coming out of this. Then though, like.
I mean. Maybe you won't barrel age schnapps, but like you could probably barrel. You can
barrel age schnapps.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. You can
barrel age anything. You know, anything alcohol related. Barrel age.
Yeah, just barrel age.
Don't barrel age some other stuff.
I mean, you could barrel age.
Might be
water,
against from like some FDA guidelines.
But, yeah, maybe. And I forgot we have those.
Yeah, those are kind of important.
They are.
But like I said. That's like kind of what we wanted to cover in this episode. We wanted to show you guys the new growing market presence of wine cask finished whiskeys. So Chan, take it away, buddy, and let's get out of this.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked our video, please like, comment, subscribe down below. We really appreciate all the views that we get and all the subscribers that we get because we're doing this for you guys. So with that, I'd like to say that's a wrap. Cheers.
That's it. Cheers, guys. Have a great